Hello out there, this is Green Guy with Green Guy Finance. This is another video, of course. I don't think that needs to be said, but going to be going through a couple things. If you're following this video, it is most likely from what I've gotten back because of the plays that I do. So I'm going to show you how I made 350% today. Don't worry about that. But I'm going to focus on some forward-looking things here, particularly some of the cyclical changes that have happened in the stocks and where we should be looking next. I think that's important to note for you guys. Quick look at the macro as always. I promise I won't spend a lot of time on the macro analysis. We'll stick mostly to stocks and try to dive into that pretty quickly. But a little bit of the macro. And then a little bit of some of the interesting trends. A couple things that have bottomed and a couple things that have re-entered the channel definitely need to be noted. So that's what I'm looking at here today. If you like the video and you're interested in the service coming up here, I'm going to try to launch that late December, maybe January-ish, depending on the programmers. But the 350% play is a very typical example of what will be included in a subscription alert system. It's just going to have ticker, recommended action, and then you guys can do the rest. So that's that. Let's dive into the plays of the day, starting with the macro. All right, so looking at the SPY here today. Fill in freeze. What the heck? All right, looking at the plays of the day here, I wanted to note one thing, which is we've had what we've been looking for. A couple green bars. We talked about that in the previous videos, that people are a little freaked out about the market. You know, think of your parents. They're used to these 2008 type things. It's still in their head to a certain degree. They're a little freaked out about this correction. The whole 10% down thing doesn't sit with them well. They're not looking for a V-shaped rally this time like we talked about, so we dismissed that fact. We said it would probably take a couple days for it to get going. And what have we had? It's been a couple days, and now we're booming. So, yippee, I was right. What do we look for next? We look for things to slow down. We can't keep going at this pace. We're going to break an ankle. So things are going to slow down a little bit in the upcoming days. Little dojis, maybe in the intradays, not intradays, in the daily charts. It might just be a flat day. I wouldn't think twice about that. That would be a healthy response to the huge run-up we had, particularly today. So look for that up and coming. Things will slow down a little bit. I would look for the same trends to continue, but now it starts getting fun again, where you start looking for the individual names. You know, does Facebook have a huge day? Does Apple have another monstrous day? We can look for the catalysts like we used to. We're not looking for fear. So the stories are much more playable, just like they once were. We can do upgrades and downgrades and have fun with earnings. So keep that in mind. Quick look. So let's look at the intraday on the SPY briefly. Come on, you bastard. There you go. So we're up to the R3 on the pivotals for the SPY. Russell's a little bit weaker is what I wanted to show you. We went through the R2 on the pivotals. Q's hit the R3 and so did the Dow, but Russell a little bit weaker in comparison, but not worrisome, people. I just wanted to show you it's not going up as quickly as the other indexes. It's just an important thing to note for those of you that might play the macro. Reasons I'm not worried: Treasuries behaving very well. We're having a healthy little sell-off after that fear buying we had. Now gold, we're having commodities go up, which is a good thing because we needed that. We had that huge commodity sell-off. Gold behaving well, and oil having another little green day here. Not a huge one, but I'm very, very, very happy and very reassured with everything. Even the VIX, we finally hit down to the 16s. You know, and we're going to be looking for that to go down below, down to the 12s again in the upcoming days, but a little too soon. So we're just going to be a little patient on that, okay? The TNA, the small cap bull 3-fold shares. Now, this is the green. That's all we're really going to point out, and that's another healthy thing. We've been looking at that. It's been a healthy trend. So everything's right in the world of the macro. Let's go to the stocks again. Okay, so let's talk about earnings before we go into any of the charting, because earnings have been very chaotic. For those of you that followed Netflix, that 25% sell-off, that was a little bit hectic, but we've had a little bit of good and bad earnings, have we not? Apple had some good earnings come out. Yahoo tonight had some pretty good earnings. So we've had a little bit of a mixed bag, but they seem to be extreme actions. We seem to have a little bit of an overreaction that carries through the next day. So I would keep a close eye on that. It seems that we're just in that mentality still of buy or sell, and not a whole lot in between for whatever reasons. We're having extreme earnings reactions this time around. Let's take a look at the channels to see what we have. Potential buys upcoming here. Facebook is one that I like the chart of. Facebook and Pandora and Apple, the three here in the upper left-hand corners here. These look like good charts because Apple looks like it's about to re-enter its old chart going back to forever. This is a 6-month chart on Apple. Look at that. It looks like it's about to re-enter. Very healthy if it does. 3-month chart here on Facebook. Let's take a look at that. Just got back into its old channel. I like this. We could go up another 5 points from here. I would put a price target of it at least of 82, 83. I like that. And it's probably going to happen a little bit quicker than people are expecting it to. The market seems very hungry. But give it a week, maybe. Give it a week. Now, let's see. There's 2 charts here that have been particularly weak. So if I told you everything was positive, you'd just think I was crazy. Let's go through 2 charts that have had very difficult price action. Those charts would be Twitter and LinkedIn. Twitter had a very, very, very nasty fade here today on a day where everything was looking very green and sunny and happy. Twitter has had some very wonky price action. Same with LinkedIn. Both these names I would keep a closer eye on. They could have some bad news up and coming. The price action reflects that. It hasn't had that sunny, I want to dump my cash into it feeling. Keep your eye on it. Could be wrong, but that's just what it's been the past 3 days despite all the greenery in the macro pictures. Priceline and Zillow, another 2 I would mention here. We've been saying those look to have bottomed. They've been looking healthy. And look, they look to have broken back. So they're out of that downward channel, which is excellent news for those 2 stocks. So we're going to be looking to possibly take calls on those because they both have a lot of makeup room. They've been shedding since, mid-August for both of them. The housing starts have been fantastic, so that might be enough to boom it right up. We'll see. We'll see. I think that's enough right now for just that. Let's take a quick look at the play that I had here today, and then I'll go through a little bit more of the comparison charts and some of the value stocks and etc. So this is OCN. I wanted to show this to you guys. Let's see. So here we are over at my... basically just my posts, 1202, 40% off OCN. I wanted to show you the chart. Basically 1202 is this. So 1 minute pretty much after that news broke, I had my position on. That's what the alert system I'm going to be having is going to be. It's going to be just the quickest alert system you can get with recommended positions. Because some of the alerts that we get before it hits the market. And I'm not going to go into how that we get that. We just do. So sometimes I have 3-4 minutes to think about what I'm going to do before the news even hits the public. That's the alert system we're going to have. It's been we've been developing that with an Amazon programmer for about a year here for various different things. But 40% happened pretty quickly after I did that. Didn't take long, 300, 400%. And then I left it on, and basically I got stopped out for 350%. I wasn't sure what's going to happen. We basically had all these halts that kept coming out. So I was waiting for things to get a little bit better, and I was willing to give up some of the gains just to see if it wouldn't really tank. But I'll take 350%, people. That was pretty good. So that's pretty much all I got to show you on that. If you can be first, sometimes it's just as easy as it gets. So that's what I was. Now let's take a look at the Chinese sector. Baidu is going to be the main price action here. We're going to looking at the white, which is BITA Holdings, Beta Holdings. Baidu is the yellow line, and the blue line is the name I can never pronounce. QIHU. Don't ask me to say that holding name company. QIHU. However you say that. So the big thing that I wanted to point out on this chart is China's really been healthy. The 2 most playable options stocks here are by far Baidu and Baba. The other 2 either have inconvenient strikes or lousy bid-to-ask spreads. So the 2 in the middle here, Baidu and Baba, are definitely the most playable. But the trend here has definitely been up and up and up. And I would make a quick note on Baba. Baba had a huge day today of 4%, and did it go back down? Yeah, 3.3% at one point. But Baba finished out the day at about 90.90. It's had its first huge jump as a name since its IPO, which is important. We want to see it react because that's how we make money. If it doesn't react, who cares? We basically might as well just put our money in a slot machine. We want to poke it with a stick and see what it does. That's how we get reaction. That's how we get money. If it doesn't do anything, it's hard to do anything because it's just going to roll over you as an investment. So let's keep an eye on it, see what it does. But I do like the fact that it's breaking a little bit of its old trend. So an eye on that in the future. Baba for sure. Baidu has been looking very healthy too. I'd make a note of that. This is another comparison chart. Basically, it's Yahoo is the price action. Let me take the pivot points off there. The white is Baba again, and the yellow is Amazon, and the blue is SPY. So you can get an idea, sort of some of the corollaries for Baba just in general. And again, Baba is the white line on this one, Amazon yellow, and Yahoo is the price action. You can see how there is a bit of correlation with Baba and Yahoo. Absolutely, definitely towards the latter half of the day here, the 2 p.m.-ish beyond. And you can see how there was definitely a little bit of correlation with Baba and Amazon about noon on. But it seems to enter and break these correlations. So I haven't found anything that would be really playable for Baba, but I will keep looking and inform you guys as soon as I do find it. But it does seem like it's starting to pick up a little bit on things around it. So it looks like it could become quite a fun one to play. I would say of note on Apple. Oh, I'm sorry, this is the wrong chart, American Airlines. I would say of note on Apple here, we've been looking at Apple and making easy money off of Apple using its correlation to the major indices. It was a fantastic trick that we've been using the past week here to get easy exits and sometimes an entry, but it looks like that correlation has been breaking quite a bit. Apple is starting to become independent again. So for those of you who have been using that, I've been seeing it break that trend. So I would not recommend using Apple like we have been for those easy exits and sometimes entries on the major indices. It's becoming quite less of a tell than it used to be. So do keep that in mind and be careful there. Let's go through some of the earnings plays that happened today. McDonald's was a little bit of a shocker here. Had a bad earnings. This is the intraday chart. We were looking at the 6-month chart. This is a 6-month chart of McDonald's. The earnings here had a nice bounce. And despite the fact that McDonald's had a bad earnings, it did have a really positive reaction in my mind. And honestly, I would disregard some of the negative comments out there about McDonald's being unrelatable to millennials. I think McDonald's has just been having its head up, its behind a little too long with this health kick, and they are a burger shack. So bacon has been trending and McDonald's has not. Go figure. I think they'll catch on. They just have to go back to some of their roots. I would look for this to be positive in the future. I don't expect this to continue. So keep it on your radars for positivity. Coca-Cola. Whoa, this was a nasty one today for those of you who followed it. Bad earnings. Buffett was not happy. But whatever. It didn't have a bounce. That was the most shocking part about the earnings for Coca-Cola today, was it had a bad reaction to the earnings and never had a bounce. I was watching it all day for signs of a bounce here. Never happened. So I would be very careful. There's something very weird going on with Coca-Cola right now. I can't put my finger on it. But a stock like this that has a dividend that makes as much money as they do, that just came out of a couple-week bad reaction to the correction that we had, should have a little bit more of a bounce to this. And I know that Coca-Cola is usually a defensive stock in terms of people will bury money in Coca-Cola when times get bad, same like they do with Chevron. But this is something else. I don't know what to make of this, so I am going to keep my eye on this, and you guys do too. There's money to be made in this somewhere, but I'm not exactly sure where yet. But this is a very odd reaction today. I would keep it on your radars. Let's go through really quick American Airlines here. American Airlines, we've been watching this stock. We bought in at $30. So basically we're up here at 37. We made our nearly 20%. I'm pretty happy. That's pretty much all I'm going to go through the value stocks here today, the little bit of earnings there. So, hope you guys liked the video. If you got any comments, questions, recommendations of stocks to go through, just send them my way. I don't mind doing it. Keep following me. I'll keep coming out with these guys. All right. Take care.